Amid a resurgence of infections and deaths, some people who once rejected the COVID vaccine or waited too long to get it are now dealing with the consequences, or their families are. Well, tonight, new at 6, the children of Buffalo booster Mark Hamister have a message for Western New York in their first television interview.
Katie and Dan Hamister tell our Claudine Ewing that while they were quick to embrace the vaccine themselves, their father was not. They describe how Mark Hamister spent his last days in a hospital bed filled with regret.
Part of Western New York's improved landscape over the last decade is because of developers like Mark Hamister. He died in August.
My dad would want everyone to know that this was his greatest mistake, and if he could take it back, he would have just taken the shot.
Mark Hamister was 69, a successful businessman, family man. He died of COVID. He was unvaccinated.
What he did say on the phone in the hospital was that he regretted not getting vaccinated.
I was on vacation when he actually tested positive.
Dan and Katie are twins. She lives in Raleigh. This summer, returned home to participate in the Empire State Ride. When it ended July 31st, she spent an evening with her father and 94-year-old grandmother. Then the call from her dad in early August. He had COVID.
He realized real quick that this could have spiraled to his whole family.
Hospitalized for 15 days and communicating almost every day.
He's been stable. He needed oxygen to help him breathe. Without it, his oxygen levels would sink into the 60s or lower.
No underlying health conditions, but his age and not vaccinated.
Had he gotten vaccinated, I don't think he would have had as serious of an issue.
Dan and I had lots of separate conversations with my dad. My dad kind of brushed those conversations off, and I think, I know my one takeaway from that is, maybe it's a hard conversation to have with your family. I wish we had more hard conversations about COVID with our father.
Was he hesitant? Did he just not trust it?
He was hesitant, yes. He believed that it was just a bad flu. And I believe a lot of that has to do with disinformation that's out there.
He believes his dad didn't truly understand the risks.
Everybody in this country needs to focus more on where they get their information because there's too much information out there that is just point blank wrong.
Hamister was a Buffalo booster. When Sabres fans feared the professional puck would not drop in Buffalo, he tried to buy the hockey team.
We can't have a viable Buffalo Sabres without a viable HSBC arena.
He didn't get it, but the effort was there, just like he pulled no punches when politics interfered with the development. The family, still grieving, explains what they never wanted to experience deciding on comfort care for their dad.
One of the things that my dad was, it was all about quality of life, not about longevity. Even though he wanted to live forever, he wanted to live forever in perfect health.
August 20th, 2021, Mark Hamister died.
We need to be, as a country, more selfless and focus on those that need it most, which means in order to protect them, you need to protect yourself.
His kids now reflect on their last conversations with the man the public knows as a businessman, but they know as dad.
Every conversation ended with, "I love you."
What do you want the legacy of your father to be?
He was a huge proponent of Buffalo and the community, huge commitment to family, and that was a huge part of his life.
He gave very generously.
His office remains the way he left it, immaculate, walls of accomplishments.
And now he's speaking through you and your sister, through your family, the message that he has for Western New York right now when it comes to this vaccine. What would it be?
Get vaccinated. It's not just for you, it's for everybody.
Claudine Ewing, Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Claudine. What a tragedy that could have been prevented. And, our heart goes out to the family. It was very powerful when I read it in the paper over the weekend also. And there are so many people out there that are still struggling with this. And a friend of mine the other day said, the death of Mark Hamister hit me hard in a text. And he, I won't mention his name, is considering getting the vaccine now. So maybe some good will come out of this.
Absolutely. Mark was very influential, and there are a lot of people that were so taken aback,
Yeah.
so struck and saddened by what happened. I had an opportunity to interview him a couple times one-on-one at length, and he was so passionate about Buffalo, and he's not someone who, really wouldn't be conscientious about anything, his health
Right.
included, but there is a lot of misinformation out there, and people do need to check their sources. So there are a lot of lessons here, and we thank his kids for sharing all of that with us.
And a phone call with your doctor helps also.
Always a good idea.
Sure does.